Hi
Hi, how are
there.
you?
It still looks like I'm connected.
Okay. Heather should be able to join
Okay.
a
Hello.
second.
I sure
Hi,
can.
Heather. Can
Hi.
you hear us?
Hi.
Perfect. Hi. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started then. Hello, everyone. My name is Daniela Espinosa, and I'm the social media and promotions manager at LMC Media. I have two guests with me here today. I have Gabby Bloomberg of Cure. If you want to go ahead and
Thank you so
introduce
much,
yourself real
Daniela. I'm
quick.
Gabby. I'm one of the leaders of CURE, or the Coalition for Understanding Racism Through Education. We're a local nonprofit organization based in Westchester County, New York, that focuses on anti-racist education as a means to dismantle systems of oppression. And I'm so happy and honored to be here with both of you.
Great.
Yes, we're so excited to introduce our special guest, Miss Heather McGhee, New York Times bestselling author of The Sum of Us. She's our focal point in the Five Towns One Book discussion series that we've been holding for the past month. And we're just really excited to get to know a little bit more about the big brain behind the book.
I'm so well,
How are
thank
you,
you.
Heather?
I'm IGing in from California, where I've been for work for this podcast version of The Sum of Us, sort of spin-off of The Sum of Us that I'm doing. So I'm feeling very full of stories and new people that I have met who've shared some of their America with me, and I'm just really excited for today. It's such an honor that we've had this Five Towns event with all of these libraries and book clubs and people joining together to read The Sum of Us and do exactly what I hoped people would do with it, which is join together in conversation in multiracial groups within their communities and feel like they all have a way in to this central challenge of our time, which is overcoming the lie of a belief in a hierarchy of human value together.
Wonderful. So I know this project has been a couple years in the making, really. I watched a TED Talk a while back about, your journey into
Mm-hmm.
starting the Sum of Us and all that. So what exactly inspired you to get started on writing about white supremacy and
Yeah,
how
I mean,
it
I
affects
really
us all?
came to this issue kind of sideways. I had dedicated my career to addressing issues of economic inequality. As I write in the opening line of the book, I was really wondering why it seems we can't have nice things in America. And by nice things, I don't mean, self-driving cars. I mean things like really universal, affordable, guaranteed health care and universal child care and a well-funded school in every neighborhood. And it felt like so many of the things that really matter to us in society, the big challenges and problems that we have to solve, we have to do together. And that ultimately our sort of original fault line in this country, the way in which for most of our history we've been explicitly divided by race, we've been explicitly sold a false belief in a hierarchy of human value. I had a hunch that it had something to do with our inability to come together and solve big challenges. And I made out of that hunch a pretty radical decision to leave my job running a think tank that was focused on inequality, a think tank called Demos, and set out on this journey, which I took over the course of 3 years across the country and talking to hundreds of people. And the hunch ended up being more right than I ever could have imagined.
Okay. So in all these travels and really in the whole process of writing the book, did you ever really face any
Oh,
backlash from it? Were people like very welcoming to the
no, I
idea?
mean, you know, um, I there were a lot of people who were skeptical, a lot of sort of experts that I talked to who were skeptical, who kind of wanted to minimize the role of race and racism in our policymaking and in our politics. That's part of why I felt like I needed to go off and make the kind of definitive case because, in our work, in day-to-day work, trying to address issues like raising the minimum wage and, funding public schools and, shoring up the safety net, um, race was always sort of this invisible headwind. And so it was really important for me to make the case that it was real and put some numbers to it and put some stories to it. So I felt like in some ways my entire project was kind of trying to build the case against some naysayers that I'd had interactions with in my career. And then along the way, when I was just talking to, regular people, yeah, I had a lot of interactions which were um, distrusting or hostile, but I didn't let them get to me. That's sort of just the name of the work. But overall, I will say that I've been really fortunate that I really wrote the book with an aim to persuade, with an aim to invite people in, in general, as I was writing, I was thinking, what if you're not inclined to agree with me, right? And I wrote sort of for that audience, not only for people who were inclined to agree with me. It was really because I think we need more people, right? We need more people to see a sense of their interest in addressing these issues, people of all races. And so since the book has been published, I think I've gotten less kind of negative energy than I might have assumed.
Okay, great. I know Gabby has a couple questions as well from audience
Yeah, thank
members. She
you.
wants to share some of
We
those.
do. We have a couple questions here. So, one is from your travels and research, what would you say was the most insidious or eye-opening realization of the costs of white supremacy?
Oh, that's that's a hard question because there were so many. I do think in some ways the thing that became the central metaphor of the sum of us, the extent to which uh, many towns and cities drained their public swimming pools rather than integrate them, did feel like a sort of a low point in the just extent to which a white elite would go to just deny the humanity and deny sharing the good things in life that we should all have access to. Right now, I'm here in Southern California in Los Angeles, where I'm here to tell the story of a somewhat similar phenomenon where there was a thriving Black beach resort in the 1910s and 1920s in Manhattan Beach, a town outside of LA, that was owned by this Black family. And the white members of the town got the city council to use eminent domain to take the land away and to kill the beach resort. And as I've been talking to people in this area, um, it's been really amazing to really think about sort of what were the long-term implications of that. And I was talking to a group of Black surfers. I went surfing yesterday with a group of Black surfers. It was very fun. And one of them was saying that, if there had been 100 years of a Black beach presence in LA County in that way, surf culture would have been different. Right? There's no way that, Black people would not have become the kinds of surfers that I was with yesterday. And that would have changed surf culture around the world, right? If it had not, yeah, it's right now a pretty cultural exclusionary sport with a lot of inequalities. And so, those little things, right, have kind of butterfly effects. And that's what I've been really focused on recently is sort of almost kind of trying to imagine a different past and therefore a different present and future.
Does it
Of
ever get
course, of
discouraging
course.
sometimes having to, yeah, I mean, how do you deal with that? It's exhausting already sometimes to
Yeah.
exist as a person of color. So to, consistently be put in the middle of finding like this is what life could have been like had we not had this to begin with, and this is what's left for us to work through and to fix and all that. How
There
does
are
that leave
definitely,
you?
I'm generally speaking a really upbeat, optimistic, hopeful person. I think because I have dedicated my career to figuring out why these things have happened, why there's so much inequality. I don't take it for granted, and therefore I feel somewhat empowered and feeling like bad policy decisions made in the world we live in now, and so better ones can get us out of it. There's a sense of power in knowing that it's not just the weather, it's not just some natural, inevitable thing that we have no control over. It's actually about power and decisions. and public policy. But there definitely are moments when when the weight of it becomes really intense, and particularly when I see those moments for me have been in moments of destruction of Black neighborhoods and communities, and destruction of Black wealth. I definitely had that moment in a moment that I describe in the book around the destruction of the home ownership in a neighborhood in Cleveland. I had that moment a few weeks ago when I was in St. Paul, Minnesota, and I was given a tour by this wonderful sister of what this neighborhood that used to be called the Rondo neighborhood, which was one of the many victims. It was a thriving Black community with, thousands of residents and hundreds of businesses, and mutual societies and social societies and credit unions. And, it was just this wonderful it was like a Chinatown for Black people, right? It was this sort of thriving Black enclave that created all of this economic, self-cycling economic prosperity, and it was marked as a slum and destroyed to put a highway in. And that story happened countless times across the country. And that was, when I was really there and just thinking about how much poverty there is in the Black community, and how little wealth, and how that story of the highway system destroying these places that were incubators for Black wealth, that really, I shed a lot of tears when I came back to my hotel that night. Those are moments when I really just feel like the weight of it. But at the same time, the next day I woke up and I went and met with a community leader who was just a school teacher around the corner from where George Floyd was murdered, and has become this extraordinary community leader, and has dedicated her life and changed everything to protect that area and make it a global memorial for extrajudicial killings. And just being with her just reminded me of the power of our people, and of just the resilience and the strength and the beauty and the love. And so, it's both things at once.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. So I know you're going to be getting ready for the final discussion in just a little bit, so I don't want to hold you on for too long. Thank you, Ms. McGhee, for, sharing so much about your journey and what you've
Can
learned
you
and
put
all
it?
that.
Sorry, just to interrupt.
Gabby, if you
can someone drop
yeah.
in the chat the link to the event? Because I know some people are going to be watching this Instagram live who don't know about the event. So yeah.
Yes.
Great.
We're definitely going to be plugging it in. Don't worry, Gabby, if you want to share a little bit on the actual event itself.
Sure. Thank you so much. We are just so excited and thrilled. This is our second annual 5 Towns, 1 Book series. We've partnered with 5 local libraries here in Westchester County to bring a number of events leading up to this culminating one with Miss McGhee herself. It's been a phenomenal journey. I think our community has all learned a ton, and we're so looking forward to hearing from you directly, Heather. We've got a big room here full of people who are just really, really excited and honored that you're going to be zooming in with us. So.
Yeah, so thank you, Ms. McGhee, once again. Cure and LMC Media are going to be going live for 90 minutes starting at 2 p.m. from the New Rochelle Public Library. Ms. Heather McGhee will be joining us virtually through Zoom, and we'll also be live streaming it as well. I'm going to be dropping the link in a little bit. Just stay on our account just so you can get the link and all that. But you can also stream it live on LMC Media's website, lmcmedia.org. So thank you so much, ladies, for joining us. We'll have the live saved and all that so people can check it out on their own free time as well. But like I said, stay tuned. I'm going to be dropping the link in a little bit. Okay?
Thank you both. Thank you for this conversation.
Thank you. Yes, so excited. Have a great day.